Have you ever noticed how your entire inner world can be hijacked by a single text message? How the silence from someone you care about can feel louder than any noise, turning your mind into a theater of anxious scenarios? That moment when you catch yourself checking your phone for the 10th time, your heart sinking just a little deeper with each empty notification screen. Your focus scatters. The vibrant colors of your own day seem to dim, filtered through the gray fog of their absence or their disapproval. What if you could build an inner fortress so strong that no external event, no person's absence, no word left unspoken, no shift in another's mood could ever breach its walls again? What if you could feel a fundamental, unshakable stability, not as a cold, isolated rock, but as the deep, calm center of a forest, aware of the wind and weather but never uprooted by it? This isn't just about feeling better. This is about a fundamental reclaiming of your sovereignty. It's about discovering that the peace you've been searching for in others has been waiting for you within yourself all along. This is the core of Stoic wisdom, a philosophy not of suppression, but of profound empowerment. And it begins by recognizing the architecture of your own captivity, that heavy feeling in your chest when you're waiting for a reply, the way you refresh your phone, hoping for a flicker of their attention, the subtle erosion of your mood when they seem distant or distracted. We've all been there. We mistake this turbulence for passion, this anxiety for love. We call it caring deeply, but the ancient Stoics recognized this for what it truly is, a voluntary surrender of your greatest power, the command over your own mind. Imagine your mind as a kingdom. You are its rightful ruler. But when you become emotionally entangled in this way, you've effectively appointed someone else as a temporary monarch. You hand them the scepter and the crown, and you wait in the courtyard for their decrees to determine whether it will be a day of festival or famine in your own heart. This is emotional captivity, and the first step to freedom is to see the bars of the cage you have built around yourself. You see, attachment doesn't begin with a grand, dramatic declaration. It begins with 1,000 tiny, almost imperceptible surrenders. It starts in the quiet, everyday moments. You laugh a little harder at their joke than you meant to, seeking the warmth of their approval. You bite back an opinion you fear they might disagree with, sanding down your own edges to fit their perceived mold. You cancel plans with friends because they might be free, placing a potential maybe over a definite commitment to your own life. Each of these moments is a small, golden key to your inner citadel that you willingly hand over. At first, it feels like intimacy, like trust, but one day you look up and realize you're living in a palace they now own, and you're just a guest, waiting for them to come home and turn the lights on. Your emotional state, your sense of worth, your very peace, has become a tenant in a house owned by another. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful men, ruled the vast Roman Empire. He faced betrayals, wars, plagues, and immense political pressure. Yet, he knew his most critical battles were not on the frontiers, but within the landscape of his own soul. In his private journal, never meant for publication, he wrote these words as a reminder to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Read that again. You have power over your mind, not outside events. He wasn't stating a platitude. He was recording a fundamental law of human psychology. He was reminding himself, as we must remind ourselves, that our emotional state is our own jurisdiction. It is the one territory over which we can exercise absolute, sovereign control. No one can enter without our conscious, or more often, our unconscious, permission. So, let's begin the journey of revoking that permission. Let's change the locks. Let's reclaim the throne. This journey is not about becoming cold, heartless, or isolated. The goal of Stoic detachment is not to feel nothing. It is to stop being tossed about by everything, It is to remember who you were before you started measuring your worth by the metric of someone else's presence or absence. It is about reclaiming your sovereignty, your inner stability, and your inalienable right to feel whole, regardless of who stays or who goes in the ever-changing tapestry of your life. If you are ready to feel the weight of these invisible chains and learn how to break them, then you are in the right place. This is the path to emotional sovereignty. Part I. The anatomy of attachment, how we build our own prisons. Attachment begins not with a shout, but with a whisper. It starts in the most beautiful and human of places. A shared laugh that seems to create a tiny, private universe for just the two of you. A moment of profound understanding where you feel truly, deeply seen. A gesture of kindness that touches a part of you that rarely feels touched. In these moments, connection blooms, and it is beautiful. But gradually, almost imperceptibly, a subtle shift begins. You start giving pieces of yourself away, not out of love, but out of a growing need. You tell yourself this is what deep connection requires. That love means merging, becoming one. Our culture romanticizes this idea, the notion that we find our other half. But this is a dangerous and flawed metaphor. It implies you are incomplete, a fragment searching for your missing piece. There is a critical, yet often invisible, line between healthy bonding and losing yourself completely. Healthy bonding is like two tall trees growing side by side. Their roots may intertwine for mutual support. Their branches may touch, but they are both independent, strong, and reaching for the sun on their own. Losing yourself is like a vine that, in its search for support, strangles the tree it clings to, eventually becoming entirely dependent on it for its very structure. So, what are the warning signs? When does the weather in your soul start depending entirely on the climate of another person? When their bad mood inevitably becomes your bad mood, casting a shadow over your entire day? When their silence doesn't just disappoint you, but becomes a source of active anxiety, a void you feel compelled to fill with frantic questions and imagined scenarios? When their absence doesn't just make you miss them, but creates a genuine feeling of emptiness, as if a fundamental part of your own being has gone away. This is the moment you have crossed the threshold from a relationship into a dependency. And here is a definition to hold on to. Dependency is the act of giving someone else the remote control to your inner peace. You have handed them the device and are now sitting back, waiting to see what channel your day will be on, comedy or tragedy, based on their actions. The more you invest your happiness, your security, and your sense of worth in their hands, the less you have left for yourself. You begin, without even realizing it, to organize your life around their orbit. Your schedule bends to their availability. Your hobbies gather dust in favor of shared or potential activities. Your own validation becomes a whisper, drowned out by the roaring need for theirs. What once felt like the exhilarating freedom of love has quietly, insidiously become a prison of your own making. And the most terrifying part of this prison is that you are both the inmate and the warden. But here is the liberating truth that shatters the very foundation of this prison. Attachment is not about the depth of your feeling. It is about the location of your power. When you tie your sense of worth, your happiness, and your peace to someone else's behavior, you have made them responsible for your emotional state. You have outsourced the most critical function of your own being. Their kindness becomes your validation. Their indifference becomes your condemnation. Their love becomes your oxygen. This is an unbearable burden to place on another human being, and it is a profound abdication of your own power. The Stoic path, walked for centuries by everyone from enslaved philosophers like Epictetus to emperors like Marcus Aurelius, offers a radically different way. Stoic detachment is not emotional withdrawal, it is emotional sovereignty. It is the conscious, daily practice of remembering that your value does not live as a tenant in someone else's opinion. Your peace is not a hostage held for ransom by their presence or their approval. Your wholeness is not a conditional state, granted only when they are paying attention. It is your birthright. True detachment, in the Stoic sense, means loving someone without needing them to complete you. It means caring deeply, passionately, and fully, while simultaneously maintaining your emotional independence. This is not about pushing people away or building walls. It is about standing so firmly in the truth of who you are that you can welcome others without fear of being toppled. You can be with them fully, not because you need their light to see, but because you enjoy the combined radiance. Part 2. The Great Unveiling. Seeing the ghost you're chasing. The first and perhaps most difficult step in this reclamation project is to recognize the fantasy you have been clinging to. Close your eyes for a moment and bring this person to mind. Now, I want you to try a difficult but profoundly liberating exercise. I want you to separate the real, flesh and blood, beautifully flawed human being from the fantasy you have projected onto them. We rarely fall for people in their entirety. More often, we fall for the potential we see in them. We fall for the dream of who they could be for us, the perfect, attentive partner, the unwavering supporter who never has a bad day, the magical one who will finally silence our insecurities and make us feel complete and whole. This idealized version is a ghost. It is a mirage. And you cannot build a real, sustainable, nourishing relationship with a ghost. The real person will inevitably fail to live up to this phantom. They will have bad days. They will be selfish at times. They will misunderstand you. They will be human. And each time they reveal their humanity, it feels like a personal betrayal, because it shatters the perfect but utterly false image you have been worshipping. This is the core of the pain. You are not mourning the loss of the actual person. You are conducting the funeral for a dream. You are grieving the death of the fantasy that someone else could finally fill the empty spaces inside you. You are letting go of the illusion that external validation, no matter how fervent, could ever make you feel internally complete. The completion you seek is, and has always been, an inside job. Letting go, therefore, hurts not because you are losing something real and tangible, but because you are releasing something that never truly existed in the first place. That perfect partner, that guaranteed, conflict-free future, that fantasy of being rescued, completed, and made whole by another. It is a painful but necessary disillusionment. When you finally, courageously, see the stark difference between the person and the projection, something monumental shifts within you. The weight you have been carrying, the weight of an impossible expectation, begins to lift. The fog of fantasy clears, and for the first time, you can see the situation with stark clarity. You start to understand that what you thought was love was often, in large part, attachment in disguise. Love seeks the good of the other. Attachment seeks the comfort of the self. Real, mature love does not require you to lose yourself. It does not demand your peace as payment for connection. It does not ask you to become smaller, quieter, or less than you are. Genuine, healthy connection can only grow between two whole people, not two halves desperately searching for completion in each other. Two whole people coming together create not a dependent unit, but a powerful alliance. This realization, this great unveiling, can feel like a gut punch. It is uncomfortable to see how much of yourself you have quietly sacrificed at the altar of attachment, to see the boundaries you have blurred until they were nearly invisible, to acknowledge the chunks of self-respect you have traded for the fleeting hope of secure connection. It is a moment of profound and humbling self-honesty. But do not despair. This painful awareness is not your condemnation. It is your gateway to freedom. This clear-eyed vision is the very ground upon which you will begin to rebuild. It is the moment you stop looking outward for a savior and start reclaiming the power you have given away. It is where you begin the sacred work of rebuilding the parts of yourself you have neglected while your gaze was fixed on someone else. Part 3. The Stoic Toolkit: Practical Exercises for Reclaiming Your Throne. The journey from dependency to sovereignty is not a single leap, but a series of deliberate steps. It requires facing some uncomfortable but illuminating truths about your own patterns. This is not about self-punishment, it is about self-discovery. Ask yourself with curiosity, not judgment, why do I cling to people who demonstrably do not value me? What emptiness am I trying to fill with external validation? What wounded part of me still believes, on some deep level, that I am not enough on my own? These questions are not weapons to beat yourself with. They are maps. They are diagnostic tools that show you where the leaks are in your ship. Every pattern you recognize is a specific chain you can now begin to file away at. Every moment of awareness is a definitive step toward reclaiming your power. With this new awareness, we can now employ the practical tools of Stoicism. Tool 1. The practice of conscious boundaries. The word boundaries often conjures images of walls, barbed wire, and isolation. This is a fundamental misunderstanding. A boundary is not a wall, it is a gate, and you hold the key. A boundary is the conscious, internal decision that declares, my peace is more important than your drama. My time is a precious resource. I choose how to spend. My self-respect is not negotiable currency for your affection. I can love you and care for you without forfeiting myself in the process. For many, the fear of setting boundaries is the fear of being seen as cold, difficult, or unloving. But the opposite is true. Boundaries are the very foundation of any healthy, respectful relationship. They are the clear, unspoken message that says, I value myself enough to protect my peace, and I respect you enough to believe you can handle my honesty. A relationship without boundaries is not intimacy, it is enmeshment. Start small. Practice today. It can be as simple as not responding to a message immediately when you are in the middle of a task that is important to you. Choosing to spend a Saturday afternoon alone, reading a book or working on a hobby, instead of clearing your schedule just in case they call. Politely saying, I don't have the capacity for that right now, when asked to take on an emotional or practical burden that is not yours to carry. Each of these small acts is a brick laid in the wall of your inner fortress. Each one is a quiet but powerful declaration to yourself and the world that your time, your energy, and your peace are sacred and non-negotiable. Tool 2. The dichotomy of control, the foundational Stoic principle. This is the bedrock of Stoic practice, famously articulated by Epictetus. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are our opinions, our impulses, our desires, and our aversions, essentially, our own judgments and actions. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, and our public offices, essentially, everything external. Most of our emotional turmoil comes from confusing these two categories. We desperately try to control what is not ours, to control another person's feelings, actions, or opinions, while neglecting the one thing we have absolute dominion over, our own mind and our response. When you feel anxiety rising because someone hasn't texted you back, apply the filter. Ask yourself, is their response within my control? The answer is a clear, unequivocal no. Is my reaction to their silence within my control? The answer is a resounding yes. This simple filter instantly redirects your energy from the futile, trying to control them, to the fruitful, managing your own mind. This is not passivity. It is the ultimate form of proactive power. You stop being a pinball, reacting to every bump, and become the player. Tool 3. The alchemy of solitude. We fear being alone because we chronically confuse solitude with loneliness. They are not the same. Loneliness is the pain of feeling disconnected, isolated, and unseen. It comes from a sense of lack. Solitude, in contrast, is the power of genuinely enjoying your own company. It comes from a sense of wholeness. I challenge you this week. Schedule a deliberate date with yourself. Block out 2 hours. No phone, no distractions, no podcasts to fill the silence. Go for a walk in nature and pay attention to the sensory details, the feel of the air, the sound of the birds, the quality of the light. Sit in a cafe and just watch the world go by. Visit a museum and let yourself be drawn to whatever art genuinely moves you without having to explain why to anyone. You will feel the initial discomfort, the itch to reach for your device, the impulse to share the moment, the voice that says, "This is boring," or "I should be doing something more productive." Sit with that feeling. Breathe through it. Do not run. In that chosen silence, you will begin to hear a voice you have been drowning out with noise and the demands of others your own. You will start to remember what makes you laugh when no one is watching, what you are genuinely curious about, what you truly value, separate from anyone else's influence or expectations. This is not selfishness. It is the foundational work of selfhood. You cannot bring a complete person to a relationship if you are not first whole yourself. Solitude is the workshop where that wholeness is forged. Tool 4. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. This sounds counterintuitive, but it is one of the most powerful Stoic exercises for cultivating appreciation and reducing dependency. It involves periodically and deliberately imagining the loss of what you value, including the person you are attached to. Now, this is not about morbid pessimism or inviting bad luck. It is a psychological vaccine against the shock of loss and a powerful antidote to taking people for granted. By consciously imagining a life without them, you accomplish 2 things. First, you inoculate yourself against the paralyzing fear of loss. You realize, should this happen, I would grieve, I would hurt, but I would survive. I would find a way. This realization is incredibly empowering. Second, and more beautifully, when you open your eyes from this mental exercise, the world and the person in front of you looks different. They are not a permanent fixture you are entitled to, but a temporary, precious gift. Your time with them is not a given, but a blessing. This practice doesn't push you away from them. It allows you to see them more clearly and appreciate them more deeply, without the frantic energy of dependency. You love them more fully precisely because you know you do not need them to exist. Part 4. Writing your own ending. The architecture of a sovereign life closure. The gift you give yourself. We wait for the perfect, cinematic apology. We yearn for the final, clarifying explanation that ties up all our loose ends. We hope for a dramatic confrontation that will provide the emotional release we crave. This waiting is a fantasy that keeps us chained to the past, forever in the role of a supporting character in someone else's story. True closure is not a conversation you have with them. It is a conversation you have with yourself. It is the moment you look in the mirror, into your own eyes, and say with conviction, "I am no longer waiting for you to understand the pain you caused. I understand it. I am no longer waiting for you to validate my experience. I validate it myself. I am no longer waiting for you to give me permission to move on. I grant that permission to myself, here and now. My healing is my responsibility, and I choose to begin today. You, and only you, write the final chapter of that story, not them. When you fully accept this, the chains of the past fall away with a clatter, and you are free to pick up a fresh pen and begin writing a new story. one where you are the author, the protagonist, and the narrative force, transforming your energy and building a sovereign life. Once you stop pouring your precious energy into the bottomless well of someone else's attention and approval, you will discover you have a surplus. All that mental real estate once occupied by what-ifs and why won't theys is now vacant, fertile land, ready for you to build upon. This is the moment your life truly begins to transform. This is where you redirect that reclaimed energy. Invest it in a skill that excites and challenges you. Nurture the friendships that are reciprocal and nourishing. Move your body in ways that feel good. Create art. Learn an instrument. Study a subject that fascinates you. Contribute to your community. Build a life so vibrant, so rich with meaning, purpose, and personal joy, that someone else's presence becomes a delightful addition, a wonderful complement, but never the necessary condition for your happiness. The pain you experienced in dependency is not wasted. It becomes compost for your growth. The lessons you learned about yourself, about your patterns, about your needs, become invaluable wisdom for your future. The strength you developed by walking through the fire of attachment becomes the unshakable foundation for everything you build next. You will naturally stop asking the disempowered question, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking the empowered, creative question, "What will I create with this newfound freedom and strength?" The victim mentality dissolves, replaced by what we can call creator consciousness. You are no longer at the effect of your world, you are a causal force within it. This isn't about forgetting the past or pretending it didn't hurt. It is about alchemy. It is about using every experience, especially the painful ones, as the raw material for the person you are consciously choosing to become. It is about recognizing that your greatest power lies not in avoiding pain, but in your profound ability to transform it into purpose. As you rebuild, you will notice a remarkable and natural shift in the people you attract into your life. You will stop attracting those who see your warmth and empathy as a fire to be consumed for their own warmth. You will start attracting those who see your light as a beacon to be admired, who are drawn to your stability and respect your fortified peace. Healthy detachment acts as a profound energetic filter, naturally drawing in those who align with your values and gently repelling those who do not. Your sovereign energy becomes a magnet for the authentic, respectful, and fulfilling connections you truly deserve. The journey of emotional sovereignty is not always easy. There will be days you feel the old pull, the familiar ache of the dependency pattern, but it is always worth it. Every conscious step you take toward yourself is a step toward lasting freedom. Every boundary you set is a fortress built. Every moment of comfortable solitude is a homecoming to your true self. You will begin to understand, in your bones, that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. And when that relationship is solid, rooted in self-respect and compassionate understanding, every other connection in your life becomes richer, deeper, and more authentic. You no longer bring a void to be filled, but a fullness to be shared. You stop seeking completion in others and start celebrating the wholeness you have cultivated within yourself. You love from a place of overflow, not emptiness. You connect from a place of strength, not need. You engage from a place of choice, not desperation. This is the true Stoic path to emotional freedom. It is not a path of cold, heartless detachment. It is a path of profound, courageous, and wise attachment to yourself. It is about guarding your inner peace so fiercely that you can love others not from a place of desperate need, but from a place of overflowing abundance. It is not about closing your heart, but about fortifying its home. It is not about rejecting connection, but about choosing it consciously, freely, and joyfully. Your emotional world becomes your sanctuary, not someone else's playground. Your worth becomes the foundation you build your life upon, not a fluctuating opinion you have to constantly manage. Your peace becomes your highest priority, not a variable dependent on another's mood. If this path to reclaiming your sovereignty resonates with you, please support this work by liking this video. It helps this message reach others who are seeking the same freedom. And for more daily guidance, practices, and wisdom on mastering your inner world, subscribe to Stoic Mindset Mastery. Remember, the keys to your freedom have been in your pocket all along. It's time to use them. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the courageous choice to come home to yourself.